to Ask Me Anything. I'm your host, Carrie Hamilton, and today we're headed into our search team with the chairman of search team. This is Howard Brooks. Welcome to Ask Me Anything. We are ready for your 5 fast facts.
Oh, thanks, Carrie. So I think I'll start off with, I was born in Northeast Arkansas.
Okay.
I had 9 different addresses by the time I was 9.
Whoa.
I've only had 3 since.
That's a lot.
I played the bassoon
Okay.
in high school.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I played the bassoon in high school. When I first saw snow, which was when I was about 3, because of how we moved, I
Okay.
called it white rain.
Okay. White rain.
And I came here for a 2-year temporary position 39 years ago.
It's not very temporary.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not
No,
very
it's not.
temporary. Well, welcome. We are going to get right into the burning questions of the congregation. And so, where were you born?
Well, I was born. I was like, the town was called Blytheville.
Okay.
Oh, they pronounce it Blytheville.
Okay.
Blytheville, Arkansas. That's where my dad grew up.
Okay.
And mom and dad, after they married, were in his hometown for a few years. As soon as I got born, then they decided it was time to move. That started that transition.
Okay. And then where did you go to school?
I went to my public schooling was all in St. Louis County. Basically, I did kindergarten in the Kansas City area. Then from first grade through senior year in high school was all in the St. Louis County suburbs, 2 different
Okay.
ones. And then college was William Jewell College in just northeast of Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
And graduate school was at Rolla, Missouri.
Missouri.
Or Missouri, or as my grandfather would call it, misery.
That's how we say it in Iowa, too. That's what, no, it's good. I just picked up on that.
I think it depends on which side of the state you came from, whether you call it Missouri or
Probably.
Missouri. Like I say, my grandfather, who was born in southeast Missouri but grew up in Arkansas, referred to it as the land of misery. Okay, so it's the same word. Yeah, and so then I went to Rolla for my graduate training and finished that up in '81, which is
Okay.
when we were here.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
I have one younger brother.
Okay.
And my parents had a curious sense of humor. Of course, the folks may know Dad, Harry. My mother's name was Helen.
Okay.
I'm Howard.
Uh-huh.
And my younger brother, my only sibling, is Harold.
Okay.
So we're the 4-H club.
H's.
Yeah.
For sure. 4-H.
That's-
There it is. That's... Once you start with a letter, you just have to keep going with it, though, so I get that. Okay, how did you and Marilyn meet?
We're not sure.
What?
I mean, we grew up in the same church. And
Okay.
since my brother is 3.5 years younger than I am, and Marilyn's sister is just about 2 years younger than she is,
Mm-hmm.
we remember a lot of time in church where I knew there were the Parham girls and she knew there were the Brooks boys.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew each other from church. We didn't really meet, probably, and started in some sense going out together in any sort of way, and it's real loose about that even
Yeah.
in her senior year of college. And we didn't really get serious about dating until she was out of college, which was really a good thing for me. She's 2 years ahead of me in school, and that allowed
Okay.
me to get through school
Yeah.
much better. But yeah.
Yeah. I have so many questions about Marilyn now. Well, I'll save those for Marilyn. We'll save those for Marilyn. Well, what did you major in?
So in college, my majors were physics, which is what I teach here, and math. But I had a minor in political science so I could get a little scholarship money.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's how we always have. When you go to college, you always have to follow those scholarships for sure. Okay. What is your favorite thing about teaching?
I think it's seeing the students get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. And I guess a nice thing about it when you've reached the point where I have in my career, when they reach back to you years later, that's always really special. But when they get it, all of a sudden, because it's new to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so now I have a sidebar question. So, in your first days of planning lessons, were you like process all the time in your lesson plans versus now? Are you more organic since you?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I mean, it was since I started. I was only 4 years in graduate school, and I came here and I was teaching out of the same textbook that I had as an undergrad.
Of course.
I just took the lesson plans that I had experienced, and I said boom, 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 and it wasn't too long before I realized that that wasn't the pace I needed to travel, nor the way. And so
Right.
my way of starting classes now, every single class period, as I open are there any questions?
Yeah.
And then go from there, and then use those questions to eventually get to what I want to get to. But let it be. Yeah. So it's a different way of doing things. You know, we've been probably physics was kind of in the forefront of the sciences with the ideas of being an open classroom. I guess they call it flipped and that sort of stuff. But they've covered the material. So what are their questions over material? You don't have to tell it all to them again.
Right. Okay, what other jobs other than teaching have you had?
For pay?
Let's go for pay first.
Okay, well, I guess you could say I was a stringer for high school basketball scores back in high school. I'd be the one that called the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and would give them the score of the game and the player's score. So that was for pay. I got a little bit of money helping out at the place where my dad worked, stocking shelves.
Okay.
And some odd and end jobs around the community, mowing and that sort of stuff. But no, nothing really serious for pay. In graduate school, there was the pay to be a teaching assistant.
Oh, right.
But that's still almost the same thing as now.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count.
Well, okay, so now I'm intrigued about what other jobs have you had not for pay?
Oh, it's other duties as assigned.
Right.
No, it's I helped out a lot at church when I was right at the end of high school with doing work on the wiring and lighting for the sanctuary and that sort of stuff. So I can remember hanging over our home church in St. Louis is 5 stories tall, and I remember hanging over Washington Street, hanging lights out to illuminate the side of the building and that sort of stuff. Matter of fact, David, recently we were in St. Louis, and he wanted to see some of the places I had crawled around in the church. So I opened doors and said in there, and he could go above the ceiling of the sanctuary and that stuff. But so odds and ends like that, just helping out, but not anything really serious.
Digging garden holes.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've done plenty of that now. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, how many searches have you served on?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh.
The short answer is everyone.
Well, almost everyone. I was not on the search for the broadest Pastor Tom.
Okay.
But the others, all the ones previous from the time I came, shortly after we came, we had one associate here at the time. We hired 2. I was on that search, and then I was on the search for other associates after that. 2 more there, and then the pastoral searches we've done. I've been for the senior pastor all of those so far.
Okay. So you have a lot of experience with that.
It's a humbling task.
For sure.
But God always brings us someone, and even if things transpire in ways that we don't envision, the church always comes out of it better.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's all part of it, and the people do too.
So admiring that wisdom, clearly our church admires your wisdom to be having you on our search team. So admiring your wisdom, we always said if we were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, we would choose Howard Brooks as our phone a friend. Do you think that would be fun?
It'd be fun. It'd be scary. And I think one thing you have to remember is a thing I learned in high school. One of my teachers was in my social studies curriculum, was a retired Methodist minister who went into high school teaching to make more money. Okay. But he gave us the following wisdom. He says, "Don't ever be afraid to say I don't know. Don't give an answer when you don't know." So they might phone a friend, but I might flip a coin.
I don't know. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. So you talked earlier about when you came to DePauw for a temporary position. But when you came to DePauw years ago to this liberal atmosphere, did you ever think you would stay until you retired?
Probably not. Yeah. I didn't think I would stay. At some points I thought, the school I went to, William Jewell, might be a good place to, quote, go home.
Okay.
It's in Missouri. The irony of that is it's further from St. Louis, our home area, than we are here.
Right.
So that didn't happen. When the boys, when Nathan had finished up at Taylor, there was a position that sort of opened at Taylor that I was very interested in.
Yeah.
And the opening timed with David's finishing high school. And so that was an interesting thought, but it just... They needed some other letters after my name than what I have, because it was more of an engineering thing, and you had to be a real engineer. I'm just a pretend engineer. I do it, but I don't do it with the certification stuff. So we stayed, and of course by now, I'm staying until we finish.
In for the long haul.
In for the long haul.
Okay, what is your favorite place to visit?
I would say a place to visit if I would think of one spot to sit and say, I want to be here.
Yeah.
Okay? It's out at the Philmont Scout Ranch out in northeast New Mexico.
Okay.
And it's out in the backcountry. Okay?
Okay.
And it's a place that you can hike out of one of the backcountry camps, and you wind up getting to this valley, and it's the Dean Valley, and at the far northwest end of it is this Baldy Mountain, which is the big mountain on the reservation. It's about 14,000 feet, and you can look back down this long valley all the way back down to base camp, which is about 7 or 8 miles away. Because you're in New Mexico and you can see forever. And to watch the sunset there
Is wonderful.
is a wonderful place. Now you got to want to get there, and it takes a while to get there after you get there.
I was going to say, New Mexico, it sounds like it's in the middle of nowhere.
It is. It's beautiful. I mean, you can remember that out there at Philmont, there are no lights, artificial lights. So when the sky goes dark from the sun setting, the stars go to the horizon. Or actually, we clamped a few places where they went below your feet because you're up on a cliff and it's below you. Yeah. So beautiful country.
That's cool.
That's beautiful country. Second
That's
place,
cool.
which maybe I should mention as long as I'm in this location, would probably be the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore on the UP of Michigan. And so, so since I know there's certain family connections with Michigan,
yes.
I'll say
On the Michigan porch.
that's right. There, we're on the Michigan porch.
That's funny. Well, you had said Mount Baldy, and where we have our family connections in Michigan, there's a place called Mount Baldy up in Michigan. So I thought, wait, no, we're still in New Mexico, Carrie.
This one's taller than the one.
I'm sure
the one in New Mexico is bald because it's above the tree line. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm sure it's much taller. Okay. How did you get involved in scouting?
Well, when Nathan was at the age to join scouting, which at that point you started in second grade, we went to the sign-up meeting, and we went to the first meeting, and we've been promised that Nathan would be in a den of second grade boys.
Oh, yeah.
And he was in a den that was mixed second and third grade. So when we got home that evening, I was politely asked to call the Cub Master and say what happened. So I called the Cub Master, and the Cub Master says, well, I actually have 7 second grade boys, but we don't have a leader.
Oh.
And so it's only an hour a week. That's what he told me. And so that's how I got started.
Just an hour a week.
Just an hour a week, yeah. You gotta count your whole lifetime for those
Your
hours.
whole lifetime by now.
Yeah.
Wow. What was your favorite thing about scouting?
I'd say being with my boys and watching them grow up, their Eagle projects, and we still get the chance to walk on David's there at coming out the Fellowship Hall into the church. Nathan's is a prayer trail down at the old Indiana Baptist Assembly, which is still used for Christian purposes, but I'm not sure whether it's still there. But just their whole experience, a chance to be at Philmont with each of them, a chance to visit Nathan at the National Jamboree, take David to the National Jamboree as a Scoutmaster, all those things. But almost all the memories are tied up with my sons as being a part of them. Although other scouts sometimes did memorable things.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. I've heard stories about Camp K, so
yes, that's right.
I'm sure that you had your fill of that too.
That was good.
How many grandkids do you have?
We have 3. I don't have. We have. No.
Yeah.
Okay. We have. So Tiffany is 5. That's Nathan and Liz, and then Libby is 3, and Maggie's just over 1. And Libby and Maggie are David and Marcus.
Right. Right. So they're not even to the age. They're just getting to the age. Tiffany is just getting to the age where she could be a Girl Scout, maybe.
She's getting close to that. That's right.
We'll see.
She could be that way.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Big things to think about over there, Nathan. I'm sure you have your hands full with other things, though. Okay. We already answered how you ended up in Greencastle.
Well, it's a little bit strange because when you're getting ready to search on the college trail, I drew a circle on the United States map that was a 12-hour drive from St. Louis.
Okay.
It was a day's drive. We could get home in a day like we had to in a car. And I applied to the liberal arts colleges in that circle. And I was applying for tenure track positions, permanent positions from the beginning. And went to interview at one other school in Western Illinois, and it was a good interview. And they thought they were real positive they left, but then they picked them alum. And so then I got a call to come up here to interview for a 2-year term. And Paul Kissinger, who some of the folks in the community remember for all the years he was with us at DePauw, Paul said, remember, DePauw is a good place to be from. So come for 2 years and go somewhere. So I came up, I interviewed on my own the weekend of spring break, and left went back to Rolla, got a phone call and they offered the job. And so even though Maryland had not had a chance to see Greencastle, we took it. And then we came up here and house hunted, and then we bought the house we're in and been there ever since.
That on the cul-de-sac there.
Hmm?
On the cul-de-sac.
Yep, on a little cul-de-sac at the back end of Hillcrest. We're part of that IBM edition. That started out.
It feels like, at this point, it feels almost like every place in town is an IBM edition.
Well, yeah.
Probably.
You can sort of say that. Around the observatory, it's a faculty ghetto that they built when they converted the gardens over, but now it's not. I mean, there's so many people that are not part of the DePaul community immediately. They're in there now, so it's got the diversity. But I mean, when it started, they were all faculty members.
Wow. Okay. What is your favorite hobby or pastime?
I like hiking, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I like the leisurely hikes as well as getting serious. It's a little bit daunting to think about taking everything you want on your back. Haven't done much of that lately, but just out for day hikes. That's what we did on my birthday. That's what we tend to do on that sort of stuff. So
where did you hike on your birthday?
We were just up at Turkey Run.
Oh,
so
it's so good at Turkey Run.
Yeah, we just went Turkey Run, and we were actually scouting out their electric campground in case we want to pull the camper up there sometimes. So we did some of that too. But yeah, Turkey Run's a nice place. Shades, McCormick's Creek, those are all three that are close, that are real easy and nice, and we do a lot of hiking on. Of course, the nature park here in town.
It's great. It's great. We were just talking today about sneaking into the nature park after dark tonight because it's supposed to be a full moon. We decided we're not going to do that because you're not supposed to do that. But yeah, I love our nature park. Okay, do you still help out with the observatory?
Yes, we all do. There's three of us in the department that do, but at the moment we're closed because of COVID. Because there's no way those who've been to the observatory recognize we can't space people, especially in the dark. So we're just on limbo right now. But if someone really, really wants to get in, I have a key.
You can make that happen.
I have a key, so we might.
Okay, it is time for the lightning round.
Oh boy.
Don't get to hear about these before at all.
Right.
And, yeah. Okay, so ice cream or pie?
Pie.
TV or book?
Pie TV. Not current shows though. I want to point that out.
Okay, like what shows?
Oh, we watch the MeTV and that sort of stuff. So it's the Andy Griffiths and Home Improvements and that sort of stuff.
Well, there's not a lot of good stuff on TV lately.
I don't think so.
Lately, so it's Okay, chocolate or candy?
Chocolate, although I really like the really, really dark chocolate, the 90%. I mean, so yeah.
Okay, favorite beverage?
It's water now.
Is it?
Dad's probably going to watch this eventually, so I should say Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what his father worked with for years, and gosh, when I was a little kid, I drank Coke all the time.
Yeah, and there's really two camps of people, Pepsi or Coke.
That's right, and there's only one camp of people, there's Coke, and the rest of the world's wrong. Okay.
Oh, okay. Favorite guilty pleasure? If you had to sit down and it's the end of a long day, I'm going to eat a whole bag of potato chips. What?
I'm probably guilty of just eating too many nuts, cashews in particular, raw cashews. I could polish off a pound of them, probably not even bat an eye.
Baseball or football? I already know the answer to this.
Baseball.
Yeah, hands down. Baseball or basketball?
Still baseball.
Okay. I figured.
There is no clock in baseball.
There is no clock, so it could go on forever and ever and ever.
Correct.
Do you know what the longest game was ever played?
I don't remember that now.
Okay.
I remember the Cardinals played one back in the 70s that went 27 or 28 innings and then finished at 4 in the morning in New York, but I don't know if that's the longest.
I was just going to ask the next one, favorite baseball team.
That's the Cardinals.
Of course. That was easy.
That's easy.
Right. Okay, favorite song in the hymnal?
How Great Thou Art.
Man, amen. Favorite song that we do at church? It doesn't have to be currently.
Right.
It could be anything.
Right.
Good luck.
I like This Is My Father's World, which you ought to think about.
Yes.
Remember, I asked you for that one once, so yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Favorite childhood memory
Favorite memory
of you as a child?
of me as a child.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what you mean. I would probably say the excitement when Dad took us down to the basement to show us this little simple model train layout he put together, which is now morphed into something that Nathan has in his basement. But
Cool.
that's probably one of the more favorite memories.
Cool. Okay, favorite family memory, like with you, Marilyn, and the boys.
Oh, with us? Oh, I know. I think I liked the years we went up to the camp meeting up in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. There was a lot of good time up there just with friends, some from this community, some from out that we've still maintained contact with. That was just a good family time. We were away for a week. That's in an era long before cell phones, so we were away for a week, you know, and so it was just nice to be like that.
Favorite scientist.
Oh, probably Richard Feynman.
Okay.
He's a more contemporary version of an Einstein, I guess you would say.
Okay.
But he was a very deep thinker, but had classic simple thoughts. Like he recalls as a child wondering why it is when you pull your wagon along a level sidewalk, the ball will pierce the roll to the back, but it's really moving forward. Yeah, he was quite an interesting man.
Okay, favorite aspect that you teach. So it could be anything. Like, what's your favorite thing to teach on?
I'd say I still probably like astronomy the most.
Really?
Just people ought to know to go out in the sky and be able to look up and know where to look for the planets. They ought to recognize the moon moves across the sky. The moon has phases. The sun sets, the sun rises, those sort of things. It's just, you know, if there's any evidence to me of just the vastness of the creation, it's the sky. And so if you can slip that in every once in a while to class, it doesn't hurt.
Okay, so my last question, and we'll end on it here, is the other day we had this book and we were traveling to Michigan, and it said that there are so many stars in the sky, they equated it to the amount of grains of sand on the entire earth. And then we went up to Michigan and I was like, there is no way that could be true, because there's a ton of sand in Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
And I think of all of the beaches and all of the like lakes, ponds, and oceans.
Yep.
Is that
That's really true.
That's
What you
very
have to
close.
remember is we can't see
okay?
all the stars in the sky. The stars we see, the individual ones, are all in our galaxy, and they're nearby and they're close. But our galaxy is one of, some people made the claim that there's probably as many galaxies as there are grains of sand. Okay, and each galaxy has hundreds of billions of stars. So it's hard to appreciate. I mean, that's one of those numbers. It's another thing just to think about. Yeah, I've seen a lot of sand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
more stars than sand. Yeah, there sure are.
Wow. Well, thank you for coming over to my porch, Howard
You're
Brooks.
welcome.
And next week we will be entertaining another friend from our search committee. And I'm not exactly quite sure who it is, so stay tuned on Sunday morning to find out. And we'll see you again for another edition of Ask Me Anything.
Thanks.
Have a great day.